Hi, it's Sarah with House Copper, and this video today is going to be something simple and quick, but I don't think I've ever actually done a video on just soldering a seam in tin plate. I know I've done one relatively recently on doing seams in copper, which is different. You need two heat sources. It takes a little longer. And in a way with those two heat sources, as you probably saw, like the tin solder just kind of runs after a while. Whereas with doing it with tin, it's a little easier because you only need the soldering iron, but you have to actually go at a speed that allows the solder and the flux in the metal to kind of heat as you go. Because if you go too fast, the body of the copper doesn't have time to heat up enough, and the tin freezes, and then it gets bumpy and nasty and gnarly looking. And the goal is to have this like nice, long, smooth line along your seams. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to do it on one of the tin bodies we've done in the other videos, just so that you can see. It should allow between Liz and I to, for you to actually get a really good view of what it takes. And I might shoot these flies if anybody has a BB gun or a salt gun, like salt as in like the food, not assault. So first, you can use the same flux for tin and copper soldering. And yes, as always, this will be in the link down below if you want it. If you have questions about what I'm using, I will have the information, the name, and the link for you to go buy it. And I don't make any money on that either. I just put links and make other people money because I'm nice. So I'm fluxing right along the seam, not on either side, but just enough so that the flux runs through. And you don't need a ton. And then you will take your soldering iron, and I have the rheostat up all the way to 100 for this, for power. And you're gonna take just a little bit of tin, and you're gonna come in here. Can you see it? All right, and you're going to wait, and then you're gonna slowly draw it up. And as you can see, it's nice and smooth. And at some point I'm gonna go, yep, I'm running out of tin. It's not running, so I'll just grab a little bit more. You don't need to reflux. You should have enough in one go. And then again, I'll wait for it to melt, and I'll bring it up. Oh, I see I left a crack there where I started. I'll go back, nice and smooth. So slow is by far your friend here, as well as allowing it to heat up. And so then again, whenever I see that the solder is no longer running into the crack, I will go back and get more. And then I'll go back to where I started. I'll reheat it. So now it's not going. Come on. Sometimes you have to use the other side of the soldering iron. So I turned it on its side to really try and fill in where it wasn't going before. And it's almost like you have to remind it, nope, this is where you want it to go. And if I see any smooth areas that need smoothing, I'll kind of go back and forth. And then get more of this. And I will bring it all the way up. You can hear the flux a little bit, hopefully, in the video, where you can hear like when it heats up and it kind of has like that hissing sound. All right, now I'll let it cool. It has run through to the other side, which is good, but I'm mostly looking on the inside for food safety reasons. Now, at this point, I can take off one side, not both sides, ever. I will add a little more flux, and I will, just right there, I will finish up the last of that seam. So that it has no leaks. Yay, no leaks. And then once that is cool, or at least not running anymore, I will switch sides, but I will reattach a clamp. One, so I have a handle, but two, because this if it gets too hot, that seam will open it back up and the whole thing will pop open on you and you'll be back to square one, but even in a harder position because you have solder you're dealing with, an old flux. So again, I'll finish this last little bit here. And that's a crack, but that's fine because we're gonna wire it. So now at this point, what I would do is I will right away go wash off the flux. If I leave it on, it will etch the solder I just put on and make it look kind of nasty. So you don't want that flux to sit on there long, like an hour is kind of getting long. So that's it. That's soldering tin plate with a soldering iron. I said this video would be fast. And then you're ready to go with that. That was a lap seam. And so this is a very simple seam, but you would use that same technique if you had a crimp seam along the side and you were trying to seal that crack. You would do the same technique in tin, where you would just run that line as long as you, nice and long movements. It's kind of like the trick to soldering that people they kind of want to go choppy. Even when they're tinning, they want to kind of go choppier. Long lines, long, slow lines are usually your friend. So that's it. So anyway, there you go. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about coppersmithing and how they totally want to do it too. And find me on Facebook and Instagram at House Copper. Pick up Copper, Iron, and Clay, and read to your heart's content. And then I will see you here for our next video next time.